A very good evening to all you sports fans out there. I am Ken Howell, and I would like to welcome you to another episode of SLU Sports Night, brought to you by slusportsonline.com. Good evening to all, once more. And this evening, we have a very special guest with us. He is a all-rounded sportsman in every sense of the word, and that is St. Lucia's very own Benson Tertullien. We will be having an interview with him shortly after we bring to you the latest happenings in sports, locally, regionally, and internationally. Okay. Let us begin tonight's segment with local sports. On Wednesday evening, Bank of St. Lucia Limited launched its annual T20 tournament at the Players Pavilion at the Bossejou Cricket Grounds. The tournament was set to kick off last Saturday, where 13 teams representing various communities around St. Lucia are expected to face each other for the Bank of St. Lucia's T20, to be crowned the Bank of St. Lucia T20 tournament for the year 2013. Starring in Darren Sammy, Johnson Charles, West Indies opening batsman, and also Cuddy Les Forest. The winner of this tournament is expected to gain in approximation $4,000, while the second place would be gaining $2,000, and the third place winner would receive a total of $1,000. Also in our local sports, the Coca-Cola All-Stars drew with Mikud. Okay, and we know that the Coca-Cola All-Stars will be playing against the Black Cat 2013 champions later on this month, okay, where the FIFA World Cup trophy will be on exhibition at this game. Also, veterans football is to kick off this past Sunday in the Mabuya Valley. Okay. Let's move on to regional news. The West Indies Cricket Board has announced on Thursday that it has named a 15-member test squad for the West Indies to tour India starting later on this month. The squad includes Darren Sammy, who will be captaining the side, Tino Best, Darren Bravo, Shivnarayan Chandapal, Sheldon Cottrell, Nasing Dionarin, Kirk Edwards, Chris Gale, Veersamy Permal, Kieran Powell, Dinesh Ramdin, Kima Roach, Marlon Samuels, Shane Shillingford, and Shadrick Walter. The team management unit will consist of Otis Gibson, who is the head coach, Richie Richardson, the team operations manager, Andre Coley, assistant coach, CJ Clark, physiotherapist, Hector Martinez Charles, excuse me, Hector Martinez Charles, strength and conditioning coach, Richard Berridge, video and statistical analyst, Virgil Brown, massage therapist, and Adriel Woody Richard, who is the team's media manager. Okay, so later on this month, all the West Indies fans are expected nothing more than the best from our West Indies team as we take on India in their hometown, in their part of the world. Moving on to international news. Let us start off with football. And before we go into the most exciting league, some individuals may say that I am biased, but I would consider this the most exciting league in the world. That is the English Premier League. Let us look at other news in football around the world. Ibrahimovic, is coming under fire for his gun gesture. Okay, so that is Ibrahimovic, star of France's PSG, which is Paris Saint-Germain, is coming under fire for his gun gesture towards an opposing player on the bench. Okay, and of course, these professional athletes are expected to be in more professional mannerisms, since they are considered role models to all upcoming sportsmen. Okay. Moving on to the Premier League, which, like I said earlier on, I consider to be the most exciting league around the world. Over the weekend, we saw many games, with the likes of Manchester United being featured in a win over Sunderland, where they came through winning 2-1. Okay. We saw the likes of Newcastle taking on Cardiff City, where Newcastle was victorious in their match. Other winning teams were Manchester City, Fulham, Liverpool, Southampton, Chelsea, and West Ham. Arsenal played over the weekend, however, they only drew with West Brom 1-1. After week 7, Arsenal are still leading in points in the Premier League standings. Very surprising news for Premier League fans around the world. Okay. Also in football news, fans are beginning to wonder if the record signing of Christian Bale was a good move for Los Galacticos, as Bale has yet to live up to his full potential as a Real Madrid football player. Much is expected of the young athlete, and we wait with bated breath to see whether or not Real Madrid will bring about Gareth Bale's full potential. In the United States, many sporting activities are currently underway, with the likes of baseball, hockey, the National Football League, as well as the NASCAR racing. Okay. Also making the headlines is NBA basketball. Now the season is going to begin 21 days from now. However, there are preseason games currently undergoing so that the teams can fully prepare for the grueling 82-game season that is the NBA season. Okay, and I think that question on everyone's mind, who's following the NBA right now, is when will Kobe Bryant return to the court, and whether or not he will be the Kobe Bryant of previous seasons. And I'm expecting a lot more to come out from this series of events as we wait for these questions to be answered. Okay, and that is it for our news segment. Right about now, I would like to introduce to all our viewers our special guest, who is Benson Tertullien. Mr. Tertullien, can you say good night to all the viewers of SLU Sports Night out there? Good night, Benson.
Hi, good night to all our viewers of St. Lucia Sports Night. How are you doing?
Okay. I'm sure that they are doing fine, and that they will be even better once they have seen our episode and have heard from you what it's like to be a true athlete. Okay. Now, I said earlier on that you were an all-rounded sportsman in every sense of the word. Can you tell us a bit more of some of the sports that you have engaged in?
Well, I started playing cricket in my local community of Denry. I guess cricket is the national sport of St. Lucia. I really wish that volleyball was. Then I played football for the district under 19 and under 20 teams. We got to the local finals. I think we won 2 years in a row. Then at St. Mary's College, I started playing table tennis in Form 1. Everyone in my class and everyone in the Form was. Played basketball also. Since college was known for its basketball, everyone took part in basketball. Also played football since it's the national sport of the world. Also played the football. Took part in track and field, long distance especially, 100 meters, 200 meters, 800 meters, long distance running, marathons. Then I met volleyball, and that was the end of it. I stepped with volleyball until now.
So would you consider volleyball to be your favorite sport?
Well, sometimes I consider it my wife. So I guess that would explain itself.
Married to the sport. Okay,
Yeah.
thank you. Thank you. To all our viewers out there, let us get to know Mr. Tertullien a bit more. Here's a list of some of the activities that he's taken part in and some of the accolades that he has received based on his attendance in some of these activities. He played cricket for St. Mary's College, and he also played cricket for the national junior team. He played football for Denry Juniors, where he started playing at the St. Mary's College from 1995. He also played with Le Club Volleyball from 1998 to 2009, and also with the senior men's national team from the year 2000 to present. He started off as a middle blocker with the national team and then switched to the position of libero, which he is currently playing. He has played in games in St. Lucia, Antigua, St. Martin, St. Kitts, and the BVI. He has also played in tournaments in Barbados and Trinidad, representing St. Lucia to the best of his potential. Some awards that he has gained over the years is Best Defensive Player for 2007, Best Receiver for 2012, and Best Libero for the year 2012. Okay. Let's look at some of the positions that you have played over the couple years. We mentioned the term libero. What is the role of the libero in volleyball?
Well, in volleyball, libero is a defensive specialist. His or her main role is to receive serves and defend balls from spikes. You can compare it to a goalkeeper in football, whose main role is to block out balls from entering into the goal, or you can look at it as a wicketkeeper in cricket. But the main job is to defend the backcourt, prevent any balls from touching the ground, receive as many serves as possible. But that position doesn't spike the ball. That position doesn't do any attacking plays.
Okay. So what would be the difference between the role of the libero with regards to the role of a middle blocker?
Well, they're actually on the very opposite ends of the spectrum. The middle blocker does a lot of blocking, like the name suggests, in the middle of the net up front. Do a lot of spiking also. Whereas when the middle blocker normally gets to the backcourt, as you know in volleyball, we use a rotation system. When the middle blocker gets to the backcourt, now he's substituted by the libero, so I come in for a middle blocker. And I do all the defensive plays at the back, all the serve reception to the back. When I rotate to the front, another middle blocker comes in and replaces me.
Okay. So that means that you have a very active role when you are on the court.
Yeah, well, one of the reasons I like it is because I get to be on the court quite a bit, and also I get to rest.
Okay. So, With regards to the various positions on the team, would you consider the libero and middle blockers as most important?
Well, I think that in volleyball, defense plays a very huge role in the way the game is played and the way a team wins or a team loses. So blocking is part of defense, and the middle blocker has a very big job in blocking as many balls as possible, moving alongside the net to the left and to the right and to the middle. The libero in the backcourt, there's a lot of defensive plays, getting to as many balls as possible, trying to get the balls up as quickly as possible and as often as possible. So yes, they both have very big roles to play in the way that the team wins or loses. There are other positions that are very key. Example, setting, the setters. They're the ones who distribute the ball, just like a midfielder in football. They distribute the ball to the different attackers, so they also have a big role to play. So when it comes to volleyball, I think that every position on the court is important, and there is no one that is of more significance than the other.
Okay. We all know that volleyball is a very exciting game, as compared with some of the other sports that you mentioned, for example, football. And a lot of attention is given to those offensive-minded players. Okay, and those persons who are seen as the ones who score the points, score the goals, those who spike the best with regards to volleyball. How much attention do you think that liberos often get from the fans who are viewing the games that you have attended?
Well, now that you mention it, it's a position that doesn't get much praise. However, it's also a position that could lose for the team many points, but it doesn't get many points for the team. And like you mentioned, most fans and most people are more interested, are more tuned towards the offensive and attacking plays and players. So it's a position that has a lot of pressure, a lot of stress, because your job is to basically receive and defend, and that's basically all you do. However, you don't get much recognition or praise for it because it's not upfront, it's not the main thing.
Okay. What advice would you give to a young upcoming volleyballer who's who's about to start playing volleyball? What advice would you give to him with regards to playing the role of libero?
That person needs to be fit and be mentally focused. Also needs to try to be as flexible as possible, and needs to work on as much as possible his control of the ball, because that's basically all you do: control the ball and get as many touches on the ball to keep the ball from touching the floor. Position-wise, you get to see a lot of plays from the other teams. You get to control the way the backcourt defense is run and the way the reception is run. So I think, like my coach once mentioned to me, that person needs to have a lot of personality and a lot of confidence. So that would be my advice to that person who wants to play libero. Be ready for a lot of pressure, a lot of stress, and a lot of moving around and scripting knees.
Okay. All right. Thank you, Benson. Lately, the defense-minded individuals on teams have been receiving as much attention as, I would say, the offense-minded players. And you can see the change going around globally. For instance, in football, we have the likes of John Terry, who I believe is just as famous as David Beckham. Okay, we have the likes of Vidic from Manchester United, who's also very famous. We have the likes of Thomas Vermeulen from Arsenal, and the list goes on. And now we have our very own Benson Tertullien, the defensive-minded player coming out of St. Lucia. So I am very happy that you are on our show tonight promoting defense for your team, as well as the teams that individuals would like to play in later on. Okay.
I'm happy to be here also.
We are very happy to be here. Thank you, Benson. I have a few more questions to go on before I start our promotions for SLU Sports Online. What was your influence? Who influenced you more or less to go into volleyball?
Well, from playing at St. Mary's College, there were quite a number of players who came from college who played with the senior national team. For example, Jason Long Octave, who played professionally in Germany and also in Turkey and in Puerto Rico and a few places around the world. He was a big influence on me. Being 1 year above me at St. Mary's College, he showed that it's possible to do quite a lot of things once you put your mind to it. There was the great, we call him Kobo, probably one of the best players of the last generation, followed by Jason Long Octave, who is probably the best player of this generation. We had my coach, a lot of other players influenced me. Also, just the love of the game also took me to being able to go to practice all the time and putting a lot of effort and desire into the sport.
Okay. All right. We have a question from one of our viewers, Nayas, and he is asking, is there anything in place to help? I'm not too sure if you would be the one to answer this, but if there's any information that you can give to him and to other viewers at SLU Sports Online, we would be very grateful. But he's wondering, is there anything in place to help national players get international experience? For example, training overseas at various clubs when not playing competitively.
Well, in the past, the National Association has tried to get the national teams especially to tour probably neighboring countries, for example, Martinique or Guadeloupe or St. Vincent or Barbados, so that when we're not participating in a competition or close to a competition, we'll be able to get some experience playing with international players. The clubs usually take it upon themselves. Every Easter, 1 or 2 clubs try to go to a different country, Barbados or Trinidad, and tour the country, play the different clubs there. But national players, right now, there isn't anything ongoing per se. However, it is in the works with the National Association, because St. Lucia each year seem to be going to a higher level of play. We just recently came from Canada playing the NORSECA Intercontinental Championships, and it's a different level from what we played recently. So the association is quite aware that we need more exposure to international play and international level of play so that we can improve and be better and bring St. Lucia proud.
Okay. And of course, I would believe that there is a lot of funds required to for you to get that international experience, for example, going overseas to play various clubs and so on.
That is quite true. That is very true, and of course the main drawback to getting any international experience would be getting the funds and getting the finance to finance the airline tickets and the accommodation, etc. So that is a common theme throughout most associations in St. Lucia.
All right. We highlighted earlier on that you played with the club volleyball. Can you tell us a bit more about this club?
Well, the club volleyball is probably the second most famous club in St. Lucia, following Cicero Seagulls. I'm not sure if you've heard of Cicero Seagulls.
Yes, I've heard of the Seagulls.
Growing up, there was a big rivalry between those two clubs, and for me, choosing a club, it would have either been Cicero Seagulls or Le Club Volleyball, and Le Club Volleyball was the most convenient to me. Also, the experience there was quite good. There was training regularly. We had a number of national players and international players playing with the club, so getting experience from those players was quite beneficial to my game. also playing against the great Cicero Seagulls also was a very rewarding experience. I got to play against some of the greats from yesteryear, and they developed me quite a bit.
Okay, can you tell us a bit more about this rivalry between the club? Because I'm sure our viewers out there, all the true sports fans, love a true rivalry. For example, the Boston Celtics and the Los Angeles Lakers. Whenever these two teams play,
Yes.
they draw a crowd. So, tell us a bit more so we can promote this even more whenever these two teams meet in the future.
Well, the future, I'm not sure if those two teams will meet again because Cicero Seagulls has been defunct for a little while. The members are trying to get the club back together. However, in the past, before I even started playing, I was told that anytime the club and Cicero met at the complex, the stands would be filled. You would think it's a national finals of football or cricket going on. There would be noise and members from each community. The club was based around the Castries area and Cicero, like the name says, Cicero. So you'd have this great big fanfare and fans coming in, cars and a lot of people making noise, cheering on each club. The games on the court would probably last until midnight. They were playing so long and so hard. You'd have rivalry off the court where they'd meet each other and still be getting at each other. You'd have rivalry when members from each team met on senior national duties. They would be pushing each other. So in all, it was a rivalry probably to the extent of Manchester United and Chelsea, or Barcelona and Madrid.
Not to mention the great Arsenal. Right?
Yes, Arsenal, or currently the Celtics and Lakers, or the Heat and the guys they just beat in the finals.
Oh yes, that was something else. Right. At this point in time, I know that there are some individuals who you would like to mention, who you would like to credit for your accomplishment both on and off the court, whether it be family members, coaches. I'd like you to use this time to tell us about them, give them a shout out, anything that you would like, to highlight those individuals who have supported you along the way.
Yeah, sure, no problem. Well, there were quite a few, and I can't remember some off the top of my head, but I would like to mention first and foremost the Creator God. Secondly, my wife, Diana Tertullien. Without her support, I guess I wouldn't be anywhere today. I would like to thank Terry Verdant, Mr. Brian Louisi, Jason Long Octave, Jeff Daisy, all the members of the current senior national team, members of the past senior national team, Kobo, Max, Dredd, Murphy, the guys, Mainrad Joseph, Jin, also Desha Marshall and Moby Armstrong, and so many of the players from past teams and current teams, including Kendall Shallery and Bano, Nayo. Well, I guess they know themselves, so if they're listening, they would. I hope that they take some appreciation in getting me to where I am, that I'm on St. Lucia Sports Night.
All right, thank you, Benson. Very soon we'll be bringing on Hassan Day to join in the live discussion segment that we are going to have after this interview segment. Okay, I'm sure that he is quite ready and anticipated to argue his views on sporting events happening around the world. And we also invite you to join in this discussion afterwards. But before we end this part, I would like you to ask one question. How does it feel to be on SLU Sports Night as our guest this evening?
I feel very privileged and honored that you would take the time out to give me a call to be on this show. I'm very happy. I'm elated. And so soon after our last tournament, I can't express in words how good it feels to be part of St. Lucia Sports Night.
Okay.
I am so happy to be here.
And we are also happy to have you on our show, Benson. Okay, and like I said, in the discussion segment after our interview, we would also like to hear your views on some of the sporting events going on around the world. Okay, is Hassan on?
Hi, good evening.
Good evening, Hassan. To all our viewers out there, if you have any questions and comments you would like to share with Benson and myself, you can send these questions to slusportsnight@gmail.com. That is slusportsnight@gmail.com. Okay, and very soon, SLU Sports Online will be featuring the trick that thrills, and we are asking individuals to send their videos to slusportsnight@gmail.com. Okay, and the name says it all, the trick that thrills. This includes any tricks, any exciting video that you have showcasing your talent and your skills with any sporting activity that you engage in. Okay, so whether it is with football, you have a video of a fantastic goal that you experienced, please send it to SLU Sports Night, SLU Sports Online @gmail.com, and we will be airing these videos on our website, and we'll be asking individuals to vote to see which is the best video or which is the best trick that thrilled them, where winners will gain fantastic prizes from the company Sports For You, who is the creator of SLU Sports Online. So once more, any comments, any questions, feel free to send them to slusportsnight@gmail.com, where we are interviewing our special guest, and we will read your question and your comment and have a discussion on it afterwards. Okay, and for those of you who are interested in sending in your videos to the Trick That Thrills, which is a promotion coming soon, please send it to slusportsonline@gmail.com. Fantastic prizes to be won, and I'm expecting that the local athletes out there should anticipate great things when they send in their videos to our website. Thank you. Okay, now we move on to our discussion segment, where we highlight some of the most intriguing events which took place during the past week with regards to sports, locally, regionally, and internationally. And I invite Hassan, to tell us what's on his mind with regards to sports around the world and in St. Lucia. Good night again, Hassan.
Good night, Ken. Good night to our guest, Benson. Good night to our viewers, our listeners around the world. Of course, in St. Lucia, we have this holiday, and I know that some persons are probably getting home. Good night to you guys as well. In terms of sports, one of the key things that impacted me the most over the weekend was a team with a guy who smokes. Only settled for a point over the weekend. I can't recall the team. What's that team name? I think it's a team from London.
Yeah, it's from North London. It's actually Arsenal, and you're referring to Jack Wilshere from the Arsenal squad.
What's his name?
Jack Wilshere. Yes.
Oh,
okay.
Well, yeah.
So and
what do you think? Yes, what do you think about
with regards to this individual? He has
All right. So while we wait for you to figure out, what really happened to Wilshere, Benson wanted to ask you, who do you support in the BPL though?
Well, I'm a Red Devil actually.
That's Manchester United, right?
That's correct.
Okay, great. Our host Ken is of course an Arsenal fan.
I
I guess
figured that much out.
yeah, you figure that much because just like Arsene Wenger really can't get anything right the past few years, other than creating some great players who then go on to win trophies elsewhere. He cannot get something right tonight. I think we've lost him for a bit. But it's really nice to hear the discussion that you guys had, you yourself and Ken, of course. The questions were pushed over to you. Um, Benson, in terms of other sports, I know you played cricket for St. Mary. I may remember playing, and I was there at that time when you played. Which sport, apart from volleyball, that you're really close, that you really see yourself, probably back then or even now, being successful at? Which sport you like the most?
Apart from volleyball, it would have to be cricket. Cricket was the first love, and still do love cricket. Still follow cricket as much as possible. Locally, at the community level, St. Lucia, Windward Islands, West Indies, of course, and now I'm following our West Indies guys who play in India for Mumbai Indians and the Rajasthan Royals. As we know, Indians just won the Champions League, so I was quite happy to see that Dwayne Smith and Pollard get another trophy under the belt. So it would be cricket.
So in terms of Trinidad's performance and Brian Lara, of course, being a mentor and ambassador and the role that he played, what do you think about Trinidad's performance there last time, as going in as a nation and not a club? Um, with the invention of the CPL this year, we know that the Talawas would be representing the Caribbean at the or the West Indies at the next Champions League. What do you think about their performance and getting through to the semi-final stage this year around?
Yeah, I was quite pleased with the performance. Actually, getting to the semi-finals of any big tournament is quite an amazing feat, especially coming from a small island. Um, it's sad for them that they would not be representing the West Indies as a nation anymore, and because of the CPL. However, I still really like the idea of the CPL that we have integrated members from different islands playing with different franchises in different islands. It's really good to see that Jamaica came out this time and performed to the best of their ability. So um, I'm really pleased that they were able to get that final tournament, and I hope them the best next year.
Okay, and we have a question. Maybe you could help us with answering this one. It's from one of our viewers. It says, Fidel Edwards, too old for West Indies A squad. Should it be strictly a development squad? Any? Do you have anything on that one?
I think that that's not necessarily the best way to go, being age requirement, because the A squad I think could also be used as a means for players to promote themselves to get to the main squad. So not necessarily too old. It should also be used as a development squad to get in young players and fresh talent. But they should also be mixed in with a few older players who can pass on tips and experience and advice. Um, but Fidel Edwards being too old, no. If his performance is dropped, then probably. But for his age, no.
Yeah,
I don't think he's too old for the development squad.
when you look at the cricketers that West Indies have, the bowlers that we have, I mean, Fidel really is going to find it difficult to make the team, especially with the likes of Jason Holder, Kima Roach, Ravi Rampal, and I mean, you're looking at those pace bowlers, the and Gabriel, but you look at our real strength these days with the Narayan, the Shane Shillingford, the Badri. So it's really gonna be a difficult task for him to even make. Well, of course, the West Indies squad and the West Indies A. I'm sure there are some really good guys out there. There is a guy from Guyana called Beaton. You have the likes of Santoki. You have great players out there that for him to make it back, he's really got to step up his performance. And again, his age. I mean, you're looking at, I guess they're looking at the youth, and I think his age is becoming more of a problem.
Well, I think that's the beauty of having an A squad, that you have your next best set of guys who are not good enough to be or don't have the experience to be on the main squad, but they're good enough to, just a little bit more experience and they'll be able to make it. I think that's the beauty of having an A squad. That if Fidel still has the potential, regardless of age, and still has the potential, that he's able to join the A squad and probably perform better, tune up what he needed to tune up so that he could get back to the main squad. And also the young guys coming in, Jason Holder, I like to see this guy bowl. And we've got Santoki, I really like to see him bowl also, and Bitten and the other guys coming up. That would be where they would fight it out to cement the pick on the squad. And so far the A team has been doing pretty well in India, and it's just going to be I guess a fight to see who's going to cement the place for the future.
Okay, I think Ken is back with us.
Welcome back, Ken.
Thank you, guys.
We have a question, and that question, I guess we will answer that question. I guess we'll start off with Benson. I will give my own, and Ken, you will give your own. But the question is, who's your prize player so far in the Premier League? I think that, of course, the English Premier League, surprisingly good or bad. So which player is the surprise player, the surprise package of the Premier League thus far, whether it be good or bad? Benson, you have any in mind?
Yeah, for me it's Risha, and it's surprisingly bad. Because I think as a professional player, you're expected to act in a professional manner, and smoking as an athlete is frowned upon. So being caught outside a nightclub smoking is surprisingly bad move. I'm sorry, Ken, I'm really sorry, but Risha is my surprise player.
For the okay. With regards to Jack Wilshere, I was going to give a response to that earlier on.
Can we answer the question first before we give that response? So do you want to go ahead and give your surprise? In fact, let me give mine, and then you will give yours and go on with the topic that you really want to hit on.
Sure, no problem.
My surprise, my surprise player this far has to be Zaha. It's not good. It's not good or bad. It's just that I'm surprised that he's not being given the opportunity at Manchester United. So I would say that my surprise player, and really thought that he would have been given the opportunity even before Yannis, who I believe the both of them really is what Manchester could use right now. So I would say Wilfred Zaha, Manchester United, for not being played at all thus far.
Okay, so we have Jack Wilshere, we have Zaha from Manchester United. Well, I will be the devil's advocate and say that I have a surprise team in the Premier League consisting of a number of players who are surprisingly not doing too well in the Premier League thus far. And yes, some may argue that it's not 10 games into the season yet. The season has just begun, and there are a lot more things to expect as the season goes into full swing. But that surprise team is none other than Manchester United.
And didn't they say player? Didn't they say player?
And I'm going to mention the players that I think.
The question, Ken.
Yeah, I'm going to mention the players that I think are
the players
surprising me. Yes, the players that are surprising me, because I have a list of them. And before I go on to the player, you cannot be a player without a coach. And don't get me wrong. Yes, I am an avid sports fan, but I'm not too good with the names of individuals who I do not support on a regular basis. The coach for Manchester United. Can you please help me out, Hassan?
Which of the coaches?
The manager, sorry.
Or Moyes?
The manager.
Ferguson or Moyes?
Moyes. What's his first name again? If you please.
David Moyes.
David Moyes. Okay. David Moyes has surprised me because he has inherited one of the great clubs in football, not only in the English Premier League, but around the world as well. Manchester United is a great squad with a proven track record and players who fit that bill. With the likes of Wayne Rooney, Robin van Persie, which manager would ask for more? Okay. It's surprisingly bad that he has inherited this squad, and so far they are not living up to the name of defending Premier League champions. And in my view, it starts with the management and the coach. And since they are not doing so well, it has surprised me because this squad is not so much different from the squad of last year. And to have this huge...
You know what, sorry to cut you short, but you know what surprises me is that, I mean, I know that Moyes is going to get his stick, and people are saying, like yourself, you know, even though the beginning of the season, but let's just be straightforward. It is the beginning of the season. I mean, if we compare what Moyes is going through to Arsene Wenger and the frustrations that he has given the supporters for many years, I mean, this year is great. He went on and he got Ozil, but I really believe that it's way beyond Moyes. I put in this article in the blog. There's a blog that I sent an article to, and the article is very, very interesting because what it says is that, hey, Moyes came into this Manchester United team, and there had to be something said to him by Sir Alex. Now, everyone spoke about Manchester getting a big signing, including Moyes and the guy for the money. I think it's Ed. But really and truly, Moyes really wanted just 2 or 3 players. I believe that he was told by Sir Alex, you have a group of individuals there. If you can deal with Wayne Rooney's situation and Nani and those guys, then you have a good squad, which everybody's saying, yes, Manchester has a good squad. But the thing is, Moyes has to know which team is the right team, and I think that's where the difficulty starts. I mean, if you look at Sir Alex last season, yes, Manchester United won, but there were times when people were questioning whether he knew the right Manchester United team. So I believe that, I mean, the likes of Yannize, the likes of Zaha, the likes of Cleverley, the likes of Anderson, Welbeck, Chicharito, you know, some of those young players are the driving force. And whether people believe that, hey, Manchester going to place in the top 4 or down, there is something that I think there is a leeway where Manchester United management is saying, guess what? We do want a trophy, but at the same time, we want to keep the youngsters happy and the Aguilas, the Rooney, the Van Persies happy as well, because it's not just about this year. You know, it's more than that. And I mean, Manchester United will not settle for mid-table. We know that, and management won't settle for that. But I do believe that they banking on that talent that they have, and you know, that's what it is. So yes, Arsenal went on and get Ozil. Yes, Arsenal have gotten off to a better start than many thought they would. But remember, after you started the game, it's not how well you start, it's how good you finish. So I think Arsenal are going to drop many points in the coming week. They've started already. And Manchester United, I believe that, yes, they will drop points here and there, but it's a very open league, and that's the thing. Tottenham just lost to West Ham. So when people say, oh, Moyes, watch the fixtures that he had compared to some of the other teams. So you must take that into consideration too. Not the best fixtures when you're a new coach with a team like that and you're looking to better the team. So it's going to be difficult. And Wayne Rooney did come out and say, you know, it's the players to blame, not Moise. And I think what he's really saying is not really that much David Moise, but he needs to take in some blame, but the players as well. You look at the performance, and they are to blame even more because, I mean, he played many different teams. He gave guys an opportunity. But one thing's for sure, Ken, once this team gels, it's going to be a problem.
Well,
expectations.
Can I join in the conversation?
Sure.
I think that first off, that Manchester United has a tendency over the past years to start off a season slowly. I think that's a given fact. They've normally started off the season pretty slowly, winning one game, losing one, winning one. But then as the season picks up, they've picked up momentum and taken it to probably the last match, the last minute of the last match of the last, hour of the season. Secondly, we also need to recognize that David Moyes is a new manager of a squad that has a legacy. He's a new manager, and the managers have different styles. So it takes players a little bit of getting used to the different styles of each manager. So we need to give him some time. Given that, plus given the fact that Manchester United starts slowly, we need to give him some time. Secondly, Manchester United also has a tendency to put a squad together, whether the season is new or it's ongoing. They've taken a team and taken out one or two players and put in one or two players to get the desired effect that they want. But that has been Sir Alex Ferguson's style. We don't know what David Moyes' style is right now, but it's safe to say that it's new and it's going to take the players some getting used to. So I believe by the end of the season that Arsenal, who started off pretty strongly, is going to drop off in the race, and Manchester United, as its tendency is, will be pretty close to the lead, if not in the lead, by the end of the season.
And I think this sentiment is what separates true coaches, great coaches in the league, from subpar coaches or mediocre coaches. Some time ago, the Los Angeles Lakers were not doing too well. This squad with a great team, with a great core of players, they were not doing too well. And the coach came in and they made it all the way to the finals in 1 year. And in the following year, they actually won the NBA championship. So this theory about a new coach and the teams, a coach is someone who has to set his legacy, because they're not just coming in to teach new skills, they are coming in to guide the team to meet their true potential and to follow the direction that the coaches want at the end of the day. And I have to ask.
So what do you say about Arsene Wenger? What was his role over the past 9 years? Was it to create some great youngsters to go out there and elsewhere and win trophies? How do you grade a good coach? Is it David Moyes and his job at Everton in helping a team like Everton do as well as they did with the players that he had? I think what Benson is trying to say is that every coach has his style and the players have their style, and the players have their environment, and the coach is coming with his environment. So you have to take all of these into consideration, because you could have had a good coach come to Manchester United. That happened. You could have a good coach and they do well. But the thing is, I believe that 7-8 games into the season is way too early to be judging David Moyes. I mean, the team itself has not performed well. That's a fact. The coach himself has done 1 or 2 mistakes. That's a fact. But Sir Alex made mistakes too. Arsene Wenger has made many mistakes. Yes, you want to give Moyes a chance, but everyone it comes to the question of how long. How long is enough time for David Moyes? And I believe 10 games is way too soon to be judging him. And we let's wait till Christmas and see where the team is. Like with Arsenal, I think right now it's it's way too early to be thinking that, hey, Arsenal is going to win this. Let's wait till Christmas. Let's see how many injuries they're going to have and whether their squad has the depth. So all of these things need to be taken into consideration. So I know, Howell, you will say Arsenal to win this season?
Most definitely. Okay, and I say this based on past experience. The last time Arsenal won, Arsenal featured a squad with the likes of Thierry Henry. We had periods.
Many of our viewers were not born yet, right?
From France. Okay, just to mention a few greats who were truly great players. After that season, Arsenal moved to a new stadium and lost many of their star players. The Fabregas that we know right now was not the Fabregas that he was back then when he was only 18 years old. Then Robin van Persie, who's the star of Manchester for the past couple of years, was not the Robin van Persie that we knew. Robin van Persie was only 19 years of age, and he has yet to come to prime. We did not know the likes of Theo Walcott. Okay, we do not even know the likes of Nasri, who's now a star on Manchester City. But Arsene Wenger weathered the storm and dealt with the changes
which storm did he weather?
Experience.
You're talking about this season? He's weathered the storm. The storm
over the past 9 seasons that you mentioned, and he has been able to qualify for the UEFA Champions League Cup. Okay, and with that in mind, someone may say that qualifying is not a trophy. But if Bayern Munich did not qualify for the Champions League last year, they would not have been able to win. So it is possible that qualifying will result in a trophy at the end of the
you see, the problem here is that you live in a settle for qualifying life. I mean, that's what Arsenal has been, and the fans got frustrated with that because, I mean, think about it. If Manchester United were to go into a talk like, oh, we just want to qualify for Champions League and that's it, I'm sure people like you will on the case and say, oh, Manchester United, it's what they're talking about now, qualifying for Champions League and that's it, not winning the trophy. I mean, think about it. The team that Arsene Wenger has, he should be thinking about winning the title. He's only, Arsenal fans are only saying that now because they got into a huge start, a great start. If they didn't, they would be saying, oh, all we want to do is just settle for the Champions League. But privately, they wouldn't be saying that. Privately, they'll be saying, gosh, I'm out of the Manchester United winning. TT just coming in and they're winning. So, say one, say two. I mean, it's a great start by Arsenal. Other teams are struggling. It's a wonderful start by, not forgetting, Liverpool. Also start by them. But as I said, it's way too early to generate anything out from this. Imagine the lead at the top, only 6 points. Manchester United, everything remains equal, defeats Arsenal twice, and they are level on points. So that's just to show you how close it is. And I mean, we have a home game coming up against Arsenal, and I know you're laughing. You're thinking about how can Manchester defeat Arsenal twice? Well, they've done it over the past, so it can happen again. As I said, it's way too early to put your eggs in the basket of Arsenal, and I believe that we're going to have more eggs in that basket than trophies by the end of the season.
Thank you, Hassan. And I just want to highlight some of the key points that are coming up this evening. Thank you, Benson Tertullien, for coming on to our show. It was great having you. It was great hearing your point of view with regards to volleyball and our topics at hand. But I just want to leave you viewers with some food for thought. Earlier on this year, Tenusha experienced the Black Hat tournament, which was the 11th edition of this tournament. And when the tournament kicked off, many individuals were of the view that the Giants from Dennery would have won the competition. Some individuals even inked Mabuya Valley or Roseau Valley, who have been previous winners to the tournament. Okay, And guess what happened? Grosley ended up winning and becoming the eventual Black Hat 2013 tournament champions. And with that in mind, I'm linking this to the Premier League, where Arsenal is currently on top. No football fan would have ever thought that they would have achieved this, and I think that they are going to make individuals lose a lot of money, those who are banking on them not to win the Premier League championships, and even those who are celebrating Christmas early may have to close down their celebrations if they do not support Arsenal this year. Because I think our team is a full team. We have some individuals who are injured and are coming back, and when our squad is at full strength, I believe that this team will be unstoppable. So thank you once again to all our viewers out there. I would like to say that next week, Monday, we will be continuing our arguments, our news on sports locally, regionally, and internationally. Hopefully, we will have back with us Diane Francis, who is out on business tonight. And also, viewers out there, please expect another exciting interview, another informative interview from one of our special guests. With that in mind, I would like to say good night from Sports for You. Good night to all our SLU Sports Night viewers, and good night to all sports fans in St. Lucia and around the world. Thank you very much.